So what's your breakfast of choice then?
I don't eat breakfast.
That's
Eating breakfast is
interesting.
very old-fashioned.
Okay, but I thought it was supposed to be the best meal of the day.
I think that because I think all that stuff sort of came about because of the Industrial Revolution. But if you think about how we evolved, running around in the caves, if we wanted something to eat, we had to go and look for it. We didn't have larders or anything.
Right.
So we always exercised before we ate. And if we don't exercise before we eat, we have much more of an inflammatory response to food.
Ah.
Yes, very, very interesting. So even if ideally it's like an hour and a half brisk walk. Nobody's got time for that. So if you do 20 press-ups and 40 squats, that's about the equivalent before you eat.
So that's how you break your fast. And you break your fast with exercise.
Exercise, always exercise.
And that's what you do?
Yeah.
So do you go for a walk, or do you do the
even
press-ups?
just run up and down the stairs or something.
Right.
Or go power plating or something like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then you have breakfast. So breakfast for you is what, sort of like
Well, it
brunch,
could be at
really?
lunchtime, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So why do we have this story of breakfast as the most important thing in the? You say it's the Industrial Revolution. Is it just purely because
I think
they
because
want the breakfast over so people can then work?
Exactly, work, and then they all stop for lunch at a certain time. And again, you like different foods. It doesn't necessarily suit everybody to have a break of 5 hours. Some people do better with a break of 7 hours. Some people do better with a break of less,
Right.
3 hours or something. And then, tea, whatever you like to call it, 6.
Yeah.
Because it had to fit into the factory working life.
So we should do it completely different. Think hunter-gatherer.
Think hunter-gatherer,
Yeah.
Think caveman.
Yeah.
If it's been turned into something like grains, are a real no-no. Because we didn't have any way to eat them until 10,000 years ago. We couldn't
Right.
process them. And you can only eat so much raw wheat, before you think, actually, I'm probably expending more energy on this than I'm getting out of it. If you see what I mean.
Right.
Yeah. So if you can shoot it or fish it or pick it, but otherwise just,
I've never thought. Oh, you're obviously not a vegetarian then.
No.
Right.
No.
But that's very interesting. I have this assumption, obviously the wrong assumption, that many nutritionists are vegetarian because
No, I didn't
it's
think
because of the
many of them
territory.
are. No. It's a nice idea being vegetarian. It's nice, not to have to think about animals being slaughtered and everything, which is really pretty grim. The idea that we grow animals, to kill, and we're not just, hunting wild animals. But vegetarian diets first of all, they tend to rely on two things, which are wheat and milk. You take those two things out, which are very allergenic, and a lot of people have problems with. What's left is things like beans, legumes, and seeds, nuts and seeds. Now legumes, most of them are very toxic unless you soak them and cook them for a long time.
Yeah.
So in our hunter-gatherer days, we would have eaten some beans and we would have felt mighty ill. And then we would have said, well, I'm not going to eat that again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the same, yeah, exactly. And the same thing with some of the, the nuts and the, mushrooms and things like that. So I don't think it is actually a very natural way for us to eat.
Very interesting.